What's up, YouTube? Rogue here. And today I am going to be talking about something different when it comes to movies. So, my review for the Dead by Daylight fan film gave me an idea. What if I look at movies that are, no easy way to say it, horrible, and discuss or pitch how I would make them better if I had been director? Because for review, what else am I going to say about these films that haven't already been said? There's no point to me reviewing these films. However, there is a point to talking about how they could have been better, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. What I would have done if I had have made Mortal Kombat 2. First off, let's talk about what the movie did right. It used a song, because you can't have Mortal Kombat without having Techno Syndrome. So what do I have to work with? I have an hour and a half and a PG-13 rating. We want to keep the PG-13 rating because those who saw the first one are going to want to see this one. The time, however, I'm taking up to 2 hours because the sequel should do two things. One, continue the story obviously, but two, it should feel even bigger and more epic than before. A sequel is rarely better than the original, but the ones that are do those two things. Take Terminator 2 and Aliens, for example. Now, I don't think the PG-13 rating should be something that holds me back. We can still have great fighting and one or two fatalities that are true to the source. After all, if Indiana Jones can get away with a PG rating while showing this,
Fatality.
then damn it, so can I. Now then, the first change I'm making is the title. It's not going to be called Annihilation. It's not going to have any fancy subtitle. It's just Mortal Kombat 2, full stop. It doesn't need a subtitle. I don't want a subtitle. No subtitle. This one I'm setting 10 years into the future after the end of the first one. Why am I setting it 10 years into the future? Well, if I can't get the same actors and actresses to come back and reprise their roles, the least I could do is give some kind of explanation as to why they look different. I know that people are going to jump on that, but it's better than what we got. So the main characters on the hero side is going to be Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Katana, Raiden, Sonya, Johnny Cage, Jax, Scorpion, and Stryker. For the villains, Ermac, Kintaro, Smoke, Baraka, Noob Saibot. The other characters that I have in this movie that aren't fighters but will be seen, and I know people are going to comment on this and say that I'm jumping ahead, but their inclusion makes sense for it being set 10 years into the future. Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, Kung Jin, Takeda. I'm including those four because after 10 years and the relationships that developed at the end of the first one, it makes sense to have Johnny and Sonya married. They have a kid. She's about, say, 9 or 10 years old. I know that I'm pulling from future games, but at the same time, her inclusion makes sense, and so therefore, I figured I may as well just include the other three as well. We also have Kenshi, Kai, who is a friend of Liu Kang, Fujin. These other characters are in there for storyline. They're there for Mortal Kombat 3. So, the film starts with a brief recap of Mortal Kombat 1. Shao Kahn's appearance at the end of Mortal Kombat 1 does not lead to an immediate invasion. He threatens them. He says he's going to invade when they least expect him. A thief in the night, blah, blah, blah. Supervillain jargon, blah, blah, blah. And he vanishes. We then cut to 10 years later, and we see Sonya and Johnny, as I mentioned, are married. Cassie is getting ready for school. Sonya talks about the warning, and Johnny brushes it off, saying it's no big deal. We won once, we can win again, things of the like. And he's hurrying Cassie off to school, after which we cut to Jax talking to his wife about whatever. He steps out to check the mail, and he finds a single envelope with the dragon symbol in the bottom corner. Cut back to Johnny and Sonia, and Johnny brings in the same letter to the house. Sonia opens it and reads it, and finds that they're being summoned by Raiden to the temple to meet with him and the others. When they arrive, Raiden informs them that he has discovered that Shao Kahn has created a new general in the form of Ermac, and that Shao Kahn has aligned himself with Shinnok and Quan Chi. Raiden insists that it's time for them to stop the invasion before it gets started. He tasks them with going to New Edenia to meet with Katana and get help from her people. Raiden knows that Katana has close ties to Shao Kahn, and so he is looking to get her aid in providing information and tactics on how to fight him and how to defeat him. And so, heading out is Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Sonya, Johnny Cage, Jax, and Stryker. However, Shao Kahn has spies that are watching them in the form of Smoke and Noob Saibot. For the film, I'm giving Noob Saibot the ability to blend into shadows as well as being able to teleport around shadow to shadow as long as the shadows are within a certain proximity of each other. Smoke, well, he can travel as Smoke. We've seen that in Mortal Kombat 2, so may as well just keep that because I need it for this. So after Raiden opens the portal, Smoke and Noob Saibot are able to travel incognito through to go to New Edenia with them. Raiden casts the portal against the stonework. There's a shadow nearby. Noob Saibot slips through. Once they arrive, Noob and Smoke make their move and teleport Stryker away from the group for the first fight. And teaming up, they overwhelm him and they kill Stryker. Now Liu Kang's group knows that they're being followed, but by who? They have no idea. Pressing forward towards Katana's temple because, I don't know, nobody gives a damn about Stryker, so why should they? I mean, he's literally in this movie just to die. Almost in the same way Johnny Cage did, except people like Johnny Cage and nobody cared about Stryker, so. Liu Kang's group meets with Katana, and during their meeting, Ermac arrives with Kintaro to demand surrender or death. Typical cliche villain, blah blah blah. Liu Kang and Kung Lao move forward to fight them, and Kintaro swats them away easily and states that he's only interested in fighting the one who killed Goro. Johnny Cage steps forward and they fight. When Johnny Cage steps forward, Ermac prevents any interference by creating a ring of fire. I'm picturing a green fire ring there to stop anybody from getting involved. So Johnny Cage has a fight with Kintaro, and he's got the upper hand right up until he goes to punch him in the dick. At which point Kintaro sidesteps him, which throws Johnny off his game. Kintaro takes advantage and pummels him. Sonya, seeing this, begins screaming and struggling to intercede, but because of the flames, she's not able to get through. And Kintaro kills Johnny. The reason I have Kintaro killing Johnny Cage is it accomplishes two things. First of all, it gives Sonya some motivation for the movie. Now she's out for revenge. She's looking to kill Kintaro and avenge the death of her husband and father of her child. As well, it gives the audience an emotional investment into it as well. Everybody was pissed with Johnny Cage being killed in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but I think we were more pissed at the fact that there was nothing to it. He just died in the same manner that I just killed Stryker off, because screw him. Yes, Johnny Cage dying is going to strike with fans, but giving them emotional investment into that death will keep them watching and keep them around, because now they want to see Kintaro get his ass kicked too. So after Johnny is killed, Ermac tops it all off by taking his soul. He disappears with Kintaro, and Sonya rushes forward after the flames are gone and huddles over Johnny in tears. Katana vows that she's going to help, but before she's able to provide any help or aid, Noob and Smoke appear behind her and kidnap her to take her to Shao Kahn. We'll say that Shao Kahn wants to make her his second general. He wants New Edenia and he wants to make her his second general so that he has no opposition in taking it over. We'll say that. So, who are we left with? We have Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Sonya, and Jax. They return to the temple and tell Raiden everything that just happened, and Raiden tries to temper Sonya's rage, but she basically tells him to PG, go F yourself, and storms off. After she says this, I'm going to say Raiden enters a sort of trance, 30 seconds, let's say, and Scorpion arrives. Raiden tries to ask Scorpion to help Sonya. Scorpion disputes it, asking why he would care to help, since he is the embodiment of vengeance. Raiden appeals to his humanity and says that he knows better than anyone where anger leads. Raiden furthermore informs Scorpion that he needs his help to accompany the gang to Outworld to save Kitana and stop the invasion if possible. Scorpion says he has no interest in what happens to Earth. Raiden says that if Scorpion agrees to help him, he will aid Scorpion in rebuilding the Shira Ryu and establish him as the Grand Master. This sways Scorpion, and he agrees finally to fight with them. So our team is now Liu Kang, Scorpion, Sonya, Jax, and Kung Lao. And with that, the 6 of them meet together to establish a plan. So, their mission: they need to find and rescue Kitana, and they need to kill Ermac and Kintoro, and if possible, Shao Kahn, but there's no guarantee that they'll reach him, so they travel to Outworld where the rest of the movie takes place. After he opens a portal to Outworld, Raiden informs him that Kitana will most likely be in Outworld's prison. Picture Alcatraz with 5 stories to it, and that's how I'm thinking of this prison. It'll have 5 levels up, but also 2 levels underground. So after they get to Outworld, they commandeer a prison ship and discuss how they're going to get into the prison undetected. Jax checks on Sonya to make sure that she won't jeopardize the mission, and she assures him that she'll keep her cool. They decide that they're going to go in through the sewer, which leads to the prison's disposal room and then to the execution and torture floor. How do they know the prison layout? Let's say they find a blueprint on the ship that they commandeered. Because, frankly, I can't think of a better idea right now. They go through the sewer, which leads to the prison's disposal room, and then the execution and torture floor above that. They fight several guards along the way, one of which they interrogate. They find out which room Kitana is being held in. They break into the room and rescue her from her chains. As they turn to leave, the executioner and torturer of this prison steps into the doorway to block their path. Enter Baraka. Scorpion teleports behind Baraka, grabs him around the neck, and throws him against the wall. He then turns and tells the others to run for it. He's going to hold Baraka off as they run for the ship. They have a 5 or so minute fight. However, Baraka wins when Scorpion takes his mask off to burn Baraka, and he stops him with a decapitation. That way we get a decapitation with no blood, and it's still PG. Baraka then alerts the prison as the team arrives at the boat. Smoke and Noob Saibot, being in the prison, make their way to the boat. Both of them being incredibly fast, they're able to reach the boat easily before it departs from the prison. As they arrive on the ship, Kung Lao and Liu Kang tell Sonya and Jax to get Kitana into the ship's hull for safety, and they fight Noob and Smoke. This fight is going to last the journey between the prison and shore. But at the end of it, Liu Kang and Kung Lao are able to kill Noob and Smoke. Once on shore, they hurry off to find a safe place where they can open a portal back to Earthrealm. However, a portal opens, cutting them off, and Baraka, Kintoro, and Ermac arrive through it. Ermac spouts some evil jargon, and the fight begins. Jax on Baraka, Sonya on Kintoro, and Liu Kang and Kung Lao team up on Ermac. Jax nearly dies to Baraka, but as he's about to kill Jax, a spear explodes through his mouth, and then he's yanked backwards as Scorpion breathes fire on him. Jax looks at Scorpion and says, "We thought you were dead." And Scorpion says, "I am." As you know, Scorpion can never really die. He's already dead. So The most that really ever happens to him is he gets displaced. So, Sonya and Kentaro are shown in their fight, and their fight lasts a few minutes. Jax and Scorpion try and help Sonya, but Kentaro swats them away just as easily as he did before with Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Sonya attacks, but is grabbed by Kentaro and punched twice to stun. He then lifts her above his head and slams her down across his knee, shattering her back. She drops paralyzed, and Kentaro finishes it off with one final stomp on her head. We don't see her head, but we see his foot slam down where her head was, and Jack stares in horror. Sonya's hand tenses and then relaxes lifelessly. Jax charges at Kentaro, but before he could get to him, Scorpion teleports to Kentaro, grabs him, and teleports away with Kentaro. Ermac proves to be more than a match for Kung Lao and Liu Kang. He knocks out Kung Lao cold, turns his attention to Liu Kang, and defeats him. Ermac takes Liu Kang's soul as Scorpion returns to the battlefield. Jax confronts Scorpion for helping Kentaro, but Scorpion explains that he didn't save Kentaro, he saved Jax. You know damn well he would have killed you if you had tried to fight him. Ermac turns to finish off Kung Lao, but as Scorpion notices that, he teleport kicks Ermac, sending him into a rock. I don't know, something. He grabs Kung Lao, teleports back to Jax, and gathers everyone around him and teleports everyone away to Raiden's temple. Ermac brushes himself off, and we see through his eyes that he sees Sonya's soul beginning to fade away. And so Ermac quickly soul traps Sonya. Back at Raiden's temple, they inform Raiden about everything that happened. Scorpion collapses. Raiden explains to them that Scorpion's teleportation takes too much energy out of him, and that's why they never asked him to just teleport Katana out of the jail back to Earthrealm, because the distance would have been too strenuous on him. Raiden explains that he shouldn't have even teleported from Outworld to the temple. Katana asks if Scorpion will be okay. Raiden says in time he will be. Jax, looking around, asks what they're going to do about Cassie. Raiden says, bring the children here. I have a promise to keep the Scorpion, and Cassie will need a home. The four of them are too close of friends to separate, so bring all four of them here, and we will rebuild the Shiraryu with Cassie, Jackie, Takeda, and Kung Jin. Jax naturally takes issue with this, but Raiden insists that it has to be done. I don't know, I need Mortal Kombat 3 to happen, and they're my stars for Mortal Kombat 3. I know that there's plenty of plot holes probably within my film, but I don't know. I'm just trying to present a new take on Mortal Kombat 2. This is what I would have done if I was director. So with that said, let me know what you think. Do you think it's better than what we got? Do you think it's worse than what we got? Do you think there's potential? Let me know. I'm currently working on my fantasy Mortal Kombat 3 movie, and I look forward to posting that and continuing this story through that. With that said, I am Rogue. I'll see you next time.